Today is Wednesday, February the 12th, and we're going to do two things today differently. We're going to compare Shopify and Amazon because one of our viewers, Merdad, asked a question about where do we see Shopify going from here. So let's compare it to Amazon because they're both in the space of e-commerce. Amazon actually sells products. Shopify makes it easy for people to sell their products and collect money on the internet. And we're going to take a look at cybersecurity stocks, given all of the concerns about hacking going on right now with China, Russia, what have you, North Korea. We're going to look at cybersecurity stocks. So let's start with FinViz. And FinViz showed the volume was higher. So this is positive, higher than the latter part of last week and the early part of this week. And the Dow just simply popped up at the start and then just sort of trailed a little bit higher into the close. Same with the NASDAQ. Same with the S&P 500. You can see the Dow and the S&P 500 look pretty much, they always look pretty much the same. I prefer the S&P 500. Don't ever, I couldn't tell you what the value of the Dow is right now, but I'm looking at it. Advancers led to decliners 2-1. In the New York Stock Exchange, it wasn't quite 2-1. Advances and decliners. See, FinViz has 65-31, so that's more than 2-1. But on the NYSE, it was not 2-1. So the stock market breadth was up just a tiny fraction today. So February the 12th, just a tiny fraction. So hardly noticeable. Doesn't change our belief that if we're going into overbought, it's going to struggle to get there, but it's not going to get there directly. It might come down and test the neutral line. It might just bounce back and forth on the neutral line as well. So let's take a look at the stocks, and then we'll come back and we'll look at Amazon and Shopify. The SPX was up 22 points or 0.65%, and it certainly would appear that we don't have a cup and handle. We've just got a cup, and it's like a Big Dipper. It just looks like it's going to continue to rip higher. Let's take a look at the individual stocks. Apple, $5.70, 1.78%, almost 3 times what we saw in terms of the market percentage gain. And it's broken above this 200% line that's been holding us back since January the 29th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the 10th day, and it breaks through, but only on modest volume. So I bought some more call spreads. I bought 325, 330 March call spreads. Caterpillar, damn Caterpillar. I sold my 140 calls and I rolled out to 135 calls. I was really concerned about Caterpillar, but I had 135 calls when the stock was touching 150 and it came back to 135. So, I can't kick myself for having done it. My rule is that when I screw up, I learn from it, but I don't go back and say, I shouldn't have done that, or I wish I hadn't done that, or feel bad about myself. Caterpillar, however, is over the 200. These blue and red lines are, this blue is the 50. This line here is I'm going to get rid of that because that's one of the minor signals in Ichimoku. So Apple is going higher in my opinion. Caterpillar will run into the cloud and the 50. So if we put this alert right here, this is the 50 and the cloud, and 140.64 is going to be resistance, and it's going to face a tough time getting through that. So I believe it's path to least resistance. Maybe, if it's going to go up, it's going to follow the cloud rather than try to break through the cloud. So I'm still long Caterpillar, think it's a great stock. Facebook, which people are calling it maybe time to short. Certainly the SMIs tell you that it's going down, and it got a firm rejection today on the 8 EMA, so we're going to keep an eye on that, but that was low volume. Goldman Sachs, I bought some Goldman Sachs today. I tweeted that. I bought the call spread 240, 245, and I'm currently down $37 in that, but not to worry. I do think that Goldman Sachs, and the reason I think it's going higher is because we had this test of the 65 here, 68.1, and a move higher to the 78.2. Came down to the 68, moved all the way almost up to the 78.2, came down, moved up. Now has come down and has given us 2 days at the 68.1 and a little bit higher. So I think that that's the direction for Goldman and Sachs, and that's what I'm calling low volume. Even though the SMI, long-term SMI, shows that it's going down, the short-term SMI may be one more day and it may plateau out and then start to move up, and that will just cause this slower moving SMI to move slowly. But the stock still could be going up, but it's not likely to to make a break over the 250 area. So that's why I got the 240s and the 245s. Shopify, we're going to talk about Shopify in a second. AT&T down 11 cents. Tesla down $22. So I've got the Tesla shorts, which are now making money. Only $5, but I have 2 contracts. I bought the 760 put and I sold the 750. Another down day tomorrow. Rejection at this 300% Fibonacci, and the SMIs are going down, and I'm going to add to that. The volume was pretty pathetic in Tesla today. Whirlpool up 52 cents, WDC up $1.26 at the 50%. You know, if you like chip stocks and you wanted to get into this, WDC would be a good one. Cyber is a cybersecurity firm, obviously. That I was once looking at for a friend of mine, but I'm going to do more looking at cybersecurity stocks tomorrow. Just wanted to tell you that I've gotten a tip from some article that I read that there's a cybersecurity ETF that we could take a look at, and 2 up-and-coming cybersecurity stocks, but I'll also look at CYBR, and FFIV might be another one to take a look at. That was a darling cybersecurity stock at one time. So we'll look at those 5 stocks maybe in a separate video tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that one. So now let's look at our promised look at Amazon and Shopify and see what we can find in common. Well, when Amazon had this huge jump, let's just take a look at the candle. It started the day out here, moved higher, but eventually it closed down. It moved down higher, but it closed a little bit up above of its high. So there was certainly some profit taking, but that didn't deter people from buying the stock in subsequent days. Look at the volume, and then 2 days later, look at the volume again. So on that 3rd day, that's when we would have said, yep, this is a good one to go for Amazon. So we didn't, I didn't. So now let's see what we can learn from Shopify. Shopify had that big volume, this big gap. It opened here, moved up to 595, just above the 238.2%, and then came down. So it behaved pretty much like Amazon did on very similar relative volume. So now we're going to look for tomorrow to be sort of a consolidation day, not much volume, but just testing out if there's support at its low for the prior day. If we can get support here, then we could say that Shopify is going to behave, or potentially behave, like Amazon and keep moving higher, making another test of the 585.86 or the 283, 238.2%. So that's my read on Shopify. I'm looking for this kind of a reaction tomorrow where people rush in to buy it, but there's some profit taking. And then the third day, we're going to look for volume. Oops. And we're going to make our move into Shopify. Definitely a good stock. You know, I kicked myself. I said I shouldn't, but I'm going to tell you right now that on Shopify, I did get out. I told you I did get out on this candle right here. Come on, stop it. This candle right here, because I was afraid that it was just going to be a bad day for the market. And I got out. You know, I could have done well with those 6 contracts that I held. I'm not crazy about holding stocks over earnings, even though I did it with Amazon and it worked out. But, you know, lightning doesn't always strike twice. But on August the 1st, it had an earnings beat of 11 cents, and it went down and up. On 10/29, it had a 40-cent miss. It went down and up. So now we've got an earnings beat again. I think it was only 1 cent earnings beat, but nonetheless, I mean, they certainly had a big jump in subscribers. So I'm bullish on this stock. Let's wait and see. Tomorrow I will tweet out, damn it, sorry, I will tweet out whatever I do. And I'll talk to you tomorrow about cybersecurity stocks.